basically, man, a little bit before the conference, I noticed you posting a bit in the group, and I'm like, okay, this guy, he's rocking and rolling. So I know this is your first conference as well. So just want to first of all, man, just go ahead and tell us who you are, and give us a little bit about like how you got to the whole ClickFunnels community.
Into the ClickFunnels community. Okay, great. Well, thanks for having me here, Jeremy. I appreciate it so much. My name is Mark, and my name is Mark Douglas, and I run a digital marketing agency called The Mental Marketer, and we help business owners and entrepreneurs start and grow their online business using marketing. So marketing is my thing. I've got a degree in marketing, and I absolutely love marketing. I also run a private Facebook group called Funnel Building 101, and that's where I teach my community of funnel hackers, freelancers, entrepreneurs, and business owners the art and the science of funnel building. And so how I got involved into the online world, almost 2 years ago to the date, you probably wouldn't recognize me.
Okay.
I was deep undercover in corporate America.
Yeah.
I was working for a Forbes 100 company, serious company man. I climbed the ladder. I had the proverbial corner office, except my corner office was working from home. A lot of freedom, management position. I held 2 of the highest certifications that you could get for that position in the entire world. I held those certifications, and I was let go abruptly from that company.
Yeah.
So at that time, I was forced to make a decision and what direction I would take my life from that point forward. Would I continue going back into this corporate world? I could have easily there are other companies that I could have easily picked up and worked for. But I decided to take a look at why I was where I was.
Yeah.
What exactly brought me to this place? After some deep thought, I discovered the number one reason I was there was because of fear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fear had led me to a place where I felt I had to live up to everyone else's expectations. And that's where I was in the corporate world. I was successful, but I wasn't fulfilled. And I took some time to think about where I wanted to go further. And I wanted to make my own path. I wanted to be myself, and I wanted to do something that brought me more passion. And it was I'll never forget, it was 2 years ago around Thanksgiving, Black Friday. I was scrolling on social media, Facebook particularly, and I saw this ad for a free social media marketing course, 4-week free social media marketing course. And I knew that there was marketing going on social media, but I wasn't, I'd see ads come across my feed, but I wasn't.
You don't see the matrix.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I really didn't know what was actually going on behind the scenes. But I thought, wow, I have my degree, I have a bachelor's degree, is actually in marketing. And it's interesting because when I look at the library of books that I read at my leisure, it's always sales, marketing, and leadership books. The industry that I was in for 20 plus years I never picked up a book
Yeah.
to read on my leisure. I would study, but it was only because I knew at the end I was going to get a certificate or a award or a medal or some type of certification.
Yeah.
So it was to get that certification. It wasn't for my enjoyment.
Yeah. Just to show that continued education and, you know, hey, I'm still growing, and I get it.
Yes, to try to move up further and further.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Sales and leadership is always where I gravitated towards.
Gotcha. So I was going to say, it's actually crazy because your story exactly mimics mine, like to the T.
Really?
To the T. So wow. and so for some reason I thought you had an IT background. I don't know where I got that from.
Okay.
But that's my background, right?
Okay.
And like you, man, you know, 20-year IT career. And, you know, as you said, you know, especially in today's world with, you know, technology where it is, you know, I worked from home 100% and even got to a place where I was working multiple jobs remotely, right? So in terms of, you know, financial success, it was there, right? But as you said, after, and, you know, I had gone, you know, 5, almost 6 years, man, just like double dipping, right? Like making it hand over fist. And I had made more money than I thought I could ever from, you know, an IT perspective, right? Like I found, you know, the hole in the matrix, right? And boom, like, all right, I exploited it to the max, right? But what I found was that what I thought was going to make me happy, which was the money, I actually figured out that what I was really seeking was what you hit on, was the fulfillment. Like, even with the money, it was still like, well, where is this all going?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, okay, so this is great. And where's this all going? Now, funny story. On one of my gigs, I had this manager who was overseas, and, you know, I had just noticed, like, especially during the pandemic, like there wasn't a lot moving, so there wasn't a lot to do. And I just, one day I'm like, man, I'm just on a month in, month out basis, I'm just doing the exact same freaking thing over and over. And so, you know, I'm a person where I'm very like candid, right? And so I'm just like, yeah, hey, like what? So we're just kind of doing the same stuff over and over again, right? Where is this going? Like, how am I growing?
Yes.
And guess what happened as a result of that conversation?
Did you leave or did they let you go?
I got put on a PIP.
Oh.
Yeah. I got put on a performance improvement plan, man.
for speaking your mind.
But listen, man. And so like, and it's so funny because one of my boys teased me. He was like, man, you're gonna learn about asking questions. He's like, oh, you're gonna learn about asking questions. I'm like, bruh.
You gonna learn.
Yeah. like they don't have a plan for you to grow. Right? Like we need you here to do this thing. And this thing only. You're too concerned about where you can go and how you can grow, and that's not what we got planned for you. We need you to do this thing right here, and that's it.
Yeah. They need you in that spot. They need you in that spot. Yeah, there's always, you know, the people at the top want to keep their position.
Yep. And then everybody downstream is doing the same thing, right? It's like, I got to keep you in this pocket, because if you want to try to get out of this pocket, then what does that mean for me, right?
Yes. So they'll always try to hold you down from realizing your true potential.
Well, bingo. And so my analogy for that, or my example for that, is this. if you ever notice, no matter how good you do in a role, right? For start to finish for the year, right? Your cycle. It's like you can do everything right, and when it's time for your review, they're still going to be like, well, there's this one thing that we could improve upon, right?
Yes.
It's never going to be like, hey man, you knocked it out the park, and nothing else, you know what I'm saying? Nothing else needs to be said. Like, let's give you some more money. It's never that. It's always like, oh man, like that project right there, that was really good. And like, you really showed some improvement over last year, but
yeah.
We can still work on
my company. Yeah, with my company, it was all, yes, we crushed our goals. We did great. We did awesome. Now, let's do better next year. Now, let's do better. Now, I know you have it in you to just do better. And I'm gonna tell you, Jeremy, what I did was an insurance claims adjuster.
Okay.
So it was really all about, okay, you've done great. You've denied this many claims. Let's see how many more you can deny. Let's see how much less you can pay.
Yeah.
Go out there and save the company money. You're doing a great job. Go get them.
Yeah, man.
And I don't want to talk bad about my company because I still have a lot of good friends there. If it weren't for that company, I wouldn't have been exposed to all of the great training that I was, because for me, being in that corporate position, and I know that it's always borrowed, and you can always be let go at any point in time.
Absolutely.
But one thing I was always taught is that they can never take the knowledge that you have.
Right.
When you get the knowledge and you learn the skills, that's something that no employer can ever take from you. So for me, they would offer us up to $10,000 a year for our continuing education.
Okay.
If I wasn't using that $10,000, it meant I was leaving money on the table.
Absolutely.
I was leaving money on the table, and a lot of people didn't look at it that way.
Yeah.
It surprised me how many people would come to me and ask me, hey, how did you get that certification? And I'm like, dude, they give you a credit card.
Yeah. Wow.
It takes no effort, and they pay for it up front.
Yeah.
But it always surprised me how many people that I was surrounded by. I don't know who's watching, so I appreciate everybody, smart, intelligent, people that were way smarter than me that I worked with, but there were a lot of people that just didn't realize the opportunities that were in front of them. They were in front of them, and they took a lot of these amenities and these things for granted. But I've never been one to not realize what's the opportunity around me. I guess because I grew up with nothing, you know?
Yeah.
And when you grow up with nothing and you come to a level where you've got these things around you, you appreciate, or at least I did, I appreciated things a lot more, and I definitely wanted to take advantage of them. Yeah. So I was there to milk that cow, for sure, for every skill that I could learn. They took me through some pretty good corporate training programs of leadership, and mostly leadership and management.
Yeah. I know that today a lot of people are, entrepreneurship is, the thing, to pursue, and entrepreneur is the thing to be. But I also come from the school of thought that, your job is really your first investor.
Yes.
Right?
Wow.
And so I think,
like that.
Yeah, it really is your first investor. And I think that, while we can sort of get caught up in a negative frame of mind, you know, because we're doing something that we don't enjoy doing, is not fulfilling. We can forget to reflect on the things that we can pull from it. Right. So like I said, your first investor, or what trainings can I take advantage of that I can then use to build another skill set as I continue to look toward, you know, where I want to go with things, right?
I like that.
Yeah, so that was one of the things that, you know, while I was not growing and was not being fulfilled at work, I also like, while I'm here, I'm going to take full advantage of everything, right?
Yes.
Everything. And then in the end, when it became time to really full on pursue what I wanted to in life, I had the right framework and foundation to where it's like, okay, I can fully jump all in on myself without being worried about like how I'm gonna pay bills and you know, what do I need to go necessarily learn in order to do something that provides value. Now that's another story, but my point is that while you're there anyway.
Yes.
So find the things that you can take advantage of that will serve you well once you decide to move down the road, right?
Yes. If you're going to spend 60 hours of your week at any task, doing anything, make sure you're being compensated for that time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, all right. So you signed up for the conference, and so now were you doing anything in the space before you went to the conference, or no?
The conference. Oh yeah. So like I said, that was 2 years ago that I was introduced into the world of online marketing through this free 4-week social media marketing course. So after being introduced to that online course, I actually took a detour. We'll call it a detour because I did the notorious online search for how to make money online. We know that notorious search, and it led me down a rabbit hole of that led to dead ends. Yeah, and one of the most notable dead ends, it led me to this YouTuber that proclaimed that I could do 4 things and I would see money raining down from the heavens. You know, he showed these screenshots with $20,000 days, $50,000. You just saw the money rolling in. And I said, this is it. This is it. Honey, pack up the bags. We're rich. Quit your job. Quit your job. I know this is it. This is gonna work. This is the one. Needless to say, I followed every single step that this YouTuber said. I didn't get the results that he got. He told me, can I tell you what he told me? He said, get a landing page. No, he said, sign up for these offers to sell, get a landing page and a thank you page, put an email sequence out, and then run this traffic to it. And I did that, exactly. Failed miserably. Not only did I not make 1 cent, but I had some people emailing me saying, what the heck are you sending me? And I was so green at the time, I really had no idea. So I ended up, as a result of that, I was introduced to ClickFunnels though.
Okay. So in that program, ClickFunnels was a major component of that funnel that you had.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. I was introduced to ClickFunnels, and I got an email from ClickFunnels, and I remember the email that said, "You want a free T-shirt?" I was like, "Yeah, I want a free T-shirt." That was if you ever have an email opening line that you want to have open, that'll work every time.
T-shirt.
But it was an onboarding call, and they offered the one funnel away challenge to me.
Yes. Yeah.
And I took that challenge. I remember it was January the 1st of 2020 that I started that challenge. Mm-hmm. And throughout that challenge, I really got more of an education about marketing and selling online. It really taught me the foundations, and then it also introduced me to affiliate marketing, and I knew that this is where I really wanted to be. This was the space that was calling my name. This is where I'm meant to be an entrepreneur. I didn't make money right away. I didn't have a product at the time, mm-hmm. but it took me about 3 months from starting that challenge for me to make my first dollars online. And then shortly thereafter, I started an agency, and I got my first clients shortly thereafter.
Okay, all right, and nice. So I know this rabbit hole that you speak of.
You notice I said the traditional make money online, because I think that's how everybody.
Yeah, like you have to start there almost, right? You have to. So my thing is this, and I was at the conference. I was talking to a brother that I met before the conference. I had known him. I met him actually at another conference that I went to in April. It was for a group of folks called Recession Proof. So
I know Atlanta.
Yeah. So
I know the Atlanta crew.
Yeah. And as you see, they were.
You mind saying the names?
Say again?
You mind saying the names?
Oh no, him 500. Yeah, him 500. Okay. Who started Recession Proof. There was a meetup in April, and this is where I met this brother Sean, and we were just talking about like once you start down this path, like how many programs you end up buying and how many different things you end up trying, right? Mm-hmm. And hopefully at some point you find something that sticks. So, with me, I definitely have tried several things, right? Because, and I explain it this way, like everything sounds good when you just want to change your situation.
Yeah, you want a result.
You see what I'm saying? So like, oh, that's working for this person, so I'll try that. Oh, well, that person's doing this and that seems to be working for them, so I'll try that, right? Yeah. And here's the thing that I learned is it all works.
Everything works.
All of it works. Now, will it work for you? It's a totally different situation.
Yeah. And there's always more to it than you see on the surface.
There always is more to it. Now, here's the thing, right? And so as especially in the Black community, we are, even from childhood, we are perpetually looking for a way to improve our situation, right? Which also makes us uniquely vulnerable.
Yeah.
Right? And what we're not being taught is risk. Right? And see, risk is something that you can learn from corporate, right? Like you can learn it entrepreneurially, but how many successful entrepreneurs are in your circle to explain to you the concept of risk, right? Because it all works, but they all have risks.
Right.
And if you jump in and you do not understand the risk, you can put yourself in a hole that it's going to take a while to dig yourself out of.
Yeah.
Right?
I was in insurance for 20 years, and believe me, risk is a word that is probably at the center of insurance.
I could imagine. Yeah.
It was
all risk analysis.
It was at the center of it, and that was our entire insurance is about risk. And so we learned a lot about risk. And risk is not, I think with risk, you can't be 100, you can't 100% avoid it.
Correct.
I think with risk, you can, like, let's say for instance, if you don't want to get into an auto accident, then you can just not drive. So avoidance is one way to mitigate risk, avoidance. But then there are ways you have to be able to take risks responsibly.
Bingo.
Responsible risk.
And even just to understand it up front though.
Yes.
Right? So here's the typical pitch. Hey guys, I've made, 6 figures in the last, 6 months doing Airbnb or Turo or whatever the new thing is, right?
It's financial literacy.
Right? Like whatever the new thing is, right? and it's true.
Yeah.
They have. But when I sell it to you, I gotta show you the pieces that make it appealing to you, right?
Yes.
I gotta show you the pieces that make it appealing to you, right?
You know why?
I know why, because I understand marketing, but go ahead.
I do too, because they're not gonna buy if you show them how much the work they have to do.
Bingo. Because you can't sell something to a person that you've just given another objection to purchasing to.
Right.
I can't give you the objection and I'm trying to sell you.
People don't want to know how much work they have to do.
That's true as well.
But I do have to say that does span across races though.
Okay.
But it does span across races. They don't want to know the work. They want to know
that piece. Yes. Yeah. That they don't want to for sure. Yeah.
They don't want to know that piece. I have a feeling that we probably have some of the same influences.
No question. Well, the thing is like, to be honest, like we really kind of all do, right? And I say that because I didn't realize how most people eventually roll up to Russell, right?
It seems like everything out there, all roads lead to ClickFunnels.
Because these guys were in it way before it was ever a concept of marketing on the web. So these guys are literally almost like the what was it, Dan Kennedy and under him is Russell. So this guy, when I started to really work with people and started to sort of reverse engineer things, right? I saw where, all roads start to lead to a select few individuals, right?
Oh yeah.
So no question about it. I'm sure you're familiar with a lot of the people that I got introduced to internet marketing, even before I knew that I was being marketed to. Right?
Right. That's how it is. You don't even know you're being marketed.
You don't know you're so just to kind of give you an idea of how I got into this lane.
Okay.
My wife and I started a tax prep company last year, right?
Okay.
And the mentor that we were working with started us off with guerrilla marketing.
Okay.
And so we got all of this material, door hangers, flyers, posters, etc. And for the most part, I got out and did the work. My wife did help. She was definitely helpful and got out there some days with me. But for the most part, she was still working at the time. And I'm out there and I'm out there just canvassing, right? And by the end of that process, and like this was like 25,000 pieces of material, which is a lot.
Oh yeah,
which is a lot. And no less, I was out there doing it with the Water Boys. I don't know if you know who the Atlanta Water Boys are. What area what city you live in?
I'm in Houston, Texas.
Okay, so I was out there with the Atlanta Water Boys, and if you don't know who the Atlanta Water Boys,
I'd like to know.
It's basically this group of kids that stand at high traffic intersections, and they sell waters.
Oh, okay,
right? However, they do it under duress, right? So they literally will just like attack the car, right? And like, hey, big bro, I didn't get this water, get a t-shirt, get this. And so somebody taught them, like, if you just overwhelm the person, eventually they'll just give you something just to go away, right? So that's their tactic. So anyway.
Wow, is that really like widespread in Atlanta?
Oh man, bruh. Like it's a real thing. And like these dudes are like a page called ATL Scoop on Instagram will sometimes, show people who sent videos in of just how rowdy these little dudes are, man. Like it can get crazy. Like I've seen incidents of them jumping in people's cars, like reaching in their seats and pulling stuff out, stealing it. Like it's crazy, right?
Wow. So, I haven't been to Atlanta in a few years.
Yeah. So needless to say, man, in order to get this material out, I'm like, I guess I'll try to get him something, constructive to do.
Oh, so you were using the water boys to distribute your material.
Okay. So I'm like, all right, they out here selling water. Let me, pick up 5 or 6 of them and let's go distribute this material, man. But I mean, that in and of itself was like a whole scenario. Cause I mean, obviously I figured out day one that they were carrying guns, you know what I'm saying? So,
wow.
Oh yeah, they was packing. If you ever see a dude with the book bag on, yeah, like he probably got something in there. Yeah.
That's
the kind of element that, but I was committed to the process though. Right. I'm like, hey, if my mentor said I got to get out here and put out these materials, I got to put them out. And so they packing, so I'm packing too. Like everybody packing, and we're gonna put these damn flies out, right? So
that's interesting.
Yeah. So that said though, man, I did that, and by the end of it, I was like, yo, it's got to be a better way. I'm like, it's got to be a better way than being out here all day putting out flyers, right?
What kind of results was it? Were you getting?
Now that's the other thing, right? So we know that now as marketers that it's all a numbers game.
Yeah.
Right. So let's just say, for example, I put out 25,000 flyers. Then I know that let's just say 10% of those actually result in a lead. Right. Then you take that, 2,500 calls that I get, and then you figure you're probably going to close maybe 10% of those. Right. So now my numbers weren't that good. Right.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I think that's what makes online marketing a little better, because you're not able to track the performance super accurately from, it's like having a billboard.
Yeah.
It's like having a billboard. Is it working?
Yeah.
They're not going to charge you. They're going to charge you what they're going to charge you. They're going to say, okay, we're going to get you exposure for 500,000 people if you have this billboard here. It may or may not even be 500,000, but you're going to pay that anyway. You can track it so much more with online marketing, and you know exactly where the results from your marketing is coming from.
Yeah,
that's just my point. And because I've been old school like that too, because I had a business back in the day where I was using Craigslist ads.
Okay.
And I actually put an ad in the newspaper to drum up some business.
Okay. Yeah. So
okay.
I'm like, okay, there's got to be a better way. And lo and behold, I had been following a guy named Billy Jean for a while. And
Billy Jean is marketing.
There you go. But he hadn't had anything that piqued my interest. And then like shortly after that tax season, he put out an ad. Hey, do you want me to take the next 4 months to teach you everything I know about, creating Facebook and Instagram, Facebook and YouTube ads so that you can get more leads for your business, right? And I'm like, bingo, that's what I need, right? Because I'm not doing this guerrilla marketing shit next year, right? Like I'm not doing that again, right? So I got into that course as a way to learn how to do how to use Facebook and Instagram to get leads for my tax business, right? And it was literally a 4-month deep dive where every single week we did the exact same thing over and over, which was create an ad. Well, actually, we had to generally on average create about 5 ads. We had to go find the creative. We had to do hook, story, offer, headline, subheadline, all of that. Like every single week we had to do that same thing. And then you added the click funnel layer on it, right? So do your landing page, do your thank you page, do your, OTO, right?
A full out funnel.
And then, all right, so now we're getting into email sequences, right? So, all right, here's your follow-up email sequence. Let's do a retargeting ad, campaign. So literally
put the tracking on the pages.
There you go. Every single week, we went deeper and deeper inside of the sales funnel, and we just did it over and over and over and over again for 4 months. And so by the end, that last couple of months, he was like, all right, guys, so basically, let me tell you where this is all going. Is if you don't have a business and you want to create a business, everything that you've been learning for these last 4 months, we're going to turn that into a business in the last couple of weeks. So the last 2 or 3 weeks, all we did was focus on an agency and how you could either, offer the full range of services, right? Or how you could just specialize in doing a part of the funnel, right? So as you know, it may be somebody who just focuses on doing your media buying. It may be someone who just focuses on your copywriting. Someone who just focuses on reading your data, right? And helping you to make decisions on your campaign based on that data, right? And so by the end of it, what I saw was, and this was my real, like, this is where you're supposed to be at moment. Right? Again, I told you, 20-year IT dude.
I'm listening. I'm like this.
And
I'm like
I had tried all of that other shit out there, right? I tried it all out.
You mean like page builder?
The rabbit hole. The rabbit hole. Like, okay, you can make 100,000 doing this. You can make 100,000 doing that. And it was all true, but guess what I was missing? That I had to start over on each thing that I wanted to do. You starting from scratch if you've never done it before, right?
Yeah.
And so the thing that I would tell people when they're thinking about like, what's my thing? What am I supposed to do? My question would be, well, what are you already good at?
Oh, okay.
That you can just build on top of. And so what I found as a 20-year IT dude was that most of the people who were in my class were struggling with the IT shit.
Oh, right? Okay.
And so it was like, oh, wait, I can take what comes easy to me and just add this layer on top. And now I'm not out here starting from scratch. You see how much easier it is? And now let me tell you the benefit of that.
Okay.
I can charge what I charge and feel confident. When I start something new, I cheat myself because I know I don't know what I'm doing. And so my fear is that other people will know that I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And so that's how you end up charging $97 for something that should be $1,000.
That takes you way longer.
Oh my God. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so it hit me like, dude, like you don't have to throw everything you spent the last 20 years getting knowledge and experience in just to get into entrepreneurship. Take what you know, what you're good at, and what you can charge confidently for already, and just bring it to people who need it.
Yeah, it's funny because you know how everything always leads back to Russell, and he always talks about, you know, most of the time your dream customer is you, where you were 5 years ago, and the journey that you took, but you learned something. You became an expert in something. If you've read that book, if you've read that book, but you've become
the expert secrets.
You've become an expert in something, and now that's what you have to share, and people will pay for that.
Absolutely.
People will pay for that knowledge.
Absolutely.
People will pay because they are you where you were 5 years ago. It's hard once you get up to that hill, though, to remember all the steps that you took, because it comes so naturally to you now. But I see exactly what you mean. You don't have to start over.
You don't have to start over.
What you know, and that could be a business right there.
Bingo. And it's just tweaking it just a little bit, though, right? To serve a specific group of people. You see what I'm saying? And so that's what, I don't know, did you join the 2CCX coaching program?
I didn't join it.
Okay. So month one, so I joined it.
Okay.
And they've gotten it broken down into sprints, right?
Okay.
Which is, this is what we're gonna do month one, and then by the end of month two, month three, and then in the end of that first 90 days, you should be making money, right?
Okay.
And so that was, for me, what appealed to me was like, once I go all in on myself, like that's it, right? Other options don't exist. And so I want them to literally just, hey, give me the framework and tell me what to do, and then it's on me to execute, right?
Yes.
So that's what I like, is a lot of stuff, and one of the other struggles that comes with entrepreneurship is figuring everything out, and what that affects is your speed, right? Because you constantly got to learn to do the next thing, and you got to learn to do the next thing. And so what I needed is to eliminate a lot of the, well, what should I do? Or is this the right thing? Or is it, because, it's like, well, you got all of these different kinds of funnels that you can make. Which one should you use for your particular business, right? So being in the coaching program, it totally removes all of that. They like, month one, we're doing a challenge. So then that is what it is. There's nothing else for me to think about. All I need to do now is take the parameters that they've given me for the challenge and execute on it, right? So one of the things that, the very first thing they have you do in the challenge is you have to go micro niche, right? That's something that you never hear, right? You never really hear like, no, you need to go micro.
Niche your face off.
And the reason is because if you niche down enough, you become the only option. There is no comparing me to anybody else, because nobody else is doing exactly what I'm doing. And so I am the only option by default. So that allows me to automatically be that expert in that niche. And then I'm only focused on who that fits. And so, my wife she's getting on board with this whole process, and I'm helping her to use funnels as a solution to sell what she's been great at for the last almost 20 years, right? And the biggest thing for me to get her to understand is, I'm like, babe, if everybody's your customer, nobody's your customer, right? And so the reason why we get afraid to pick a niche is because we feel like we're leaving money on the table. When in reality, what you're doing is you are securing a certain amount of money that's just allocated for you, because you're the only person that provides that solution.
Yes.
Right?
Oh yeah. That's a tough one for most people, is speaking to everybody. Speaking to everyone, but when you can niche down, I was talking to someone a little bit earlier, and I was talking about that, and we're just talking about knowing, even down to you know, if your customer likes to play Fortnite, if they're Fortnite, or if they're a parent and they are sitting in the line of school waiting to pick up their kids, when you can really know your customer, that's when you can really speak to them and you really know what problems they have, and you can position yourself as the solution.
Correct.
But when you try to be everything to everyone, you're nothing to no one.
Yeah. You can't speak to anybody specifically. Like, well, everybody could use this. Well, maybe, but then how do you craft a message for everybody?
Yeah, well, everybody could, but let's not go after everybody.
Right. Let's not go after everybody. And so the thing is, you know, what they're teaching through this challenge, and I know you remember at FHL seeing Pedro, who's the king of challenges.
Yep.
And he's like, man, you know, he's like, it's hard to have the world as a customer. Like, that's hard. Like, where do you even start? Right? See, he's like, just get great at serving a group of people, right? And then once you get visibility from that, then you can start to expand into areas that make sense to connect with that original idea, right? So he's like, I started challenges with this 100X, I forget what the other piece of it is, but then you take that concept and then you start to expand on it, right?
Yes.
So that's the thing so now my thing is, as I mentioned, you know, we started a tax prep company, and then I learned how to do ads, right, in order to grow that. And then I was like, oh, dude, you're an IT dude. You can show people who are business owners, entrepreneurs, people who don't even know how to start, and you can start to give them the framework that they need in order to start. So like, you want to sell how you've been sold to many times? Let me give you the framework for how to do that.
Oh my God.
You want to sell like that? You know,
it's powerful.
Yes. So anyway, man, so for my challenge, it made sense for me to my niche is going to be in the tax prep space. And what I'm going to do is my challenge is going to be basically tax clients on demand is the name of it. And I am going to be teaching people who own tax prep companies, whether it's brick and mortar or virtual, how to use Facebook and Instagram ads to get more leads for their business.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Have you set a date?
Yes. So November 1 is when I'm going to have the first challenge. So I'm wrapping up my funnel now. I'm going to start running ads no later than the 15th. Yeah. So the 15th, I'm going to start running some traffic to my funnel, and I'm going to do a 3-day challenge each week in November. And here's a great thing about challenges, in case you didn't know, and this is why they have us starting with challenges, is because the purpose of the challenge is it creates the bridge, right? So I could try to sell you on a webinar, right? But that's pretty tough when it comes to cold traffic, right?
Oh yeah.
And then, you know, people are still going to have objections. But with the challenge, you can have cold people who are cold, come in, and over each day, they can develop the relationship that allows them to know, like, and trust you. So that at the end of the challenge, it's like either you want it or you don't. Because I provided you with so much value during this process that it's either you know that you need to continue this momentum, right? Because I've created momentum, and I've started you toward where you want to be. So at that point, it's like, well, are you serious about you? It's not about whether I can deliver. It's about, are you willing to invest in yourself in order to move yourself towards your goal?
In the words of Pedro, He said that the 5-day challenges show people that you care.
Yep.
And they demonstrate your competence.
Yes.
Show that you care and demonstrate your competence. And it's a short period of time that everyone is focused on everyone is committed and focused to achieving one primary result. Yeah. I did a video of my 5 biggest takeaways from the conference. Okay. And one of those things was challenges. Yeah. One of those things was challenges. So one of those things is challenges. They are
makes absolute sense. Like once I listened to, in the coaching program, they basically lined up a bunch of videos in a sequence. You listen to them, you execute on what you're supposed to do, right? So like, for example, I've got this niche finder workbook, right? And in this workbook, they take you through a series of questions so that to help you niche down, right? So what are the already present desires, hopes, dreams, and fears of your who, right? Your ideal customers. Where are they spending their money? What do they do for time? So it just takes you through a series of questions to help you develop that avatar.
And you know what? A lot of people skip that step.
Oh, it's so easy to skip this step. I just want to go.
Yeah.
I just want to go, but you're going to who?
That's probably one of the biggest keys to tuning your message in. So when you tune your message in and you're talking, it's like, me saying, Kevin, right. You're not going to answer.
Right.
You're not, right. I'm not, you're like, who are you talking to?
Right.
But when I say, Jeremy, what's up?
Right. And another area that this really benefits you, that will go over the heads of most people, is if I decide to use paid advertising, I'm not just throwing money out there, right? Talking to everybody.
Yeah.
And talking to nobody at the same time.
Yeah.
When you start to put money into ad spend, you better know exactly who you want to get that in front of, because you're paying for those clicks. And if a bunch of people that have no interest in what you're doing is clicking on your stuff and you're paying for it, now you're up to $10 and $15 a lead for somebody that just clicked and just bounced.
Oh, right? Yeah. I've had experience with ads and clients wanting to run ads with absolutely no data. Absolutely no data. With no data, it makes it tougher to actually hone in on just putting your message in front of the right people. When you've got data, that's what Facebook is. It's an algorithm, and it's designed, it's designed to work for you.
Yes.
But it's garbage in, garbage out.
Yes.
The better data you feed it, the better results it'll bring you back, and the better that ad campaign is going to perform for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now here's the interesting note on that, and this is a good time to touch on it. Is again, we talk about being sold, and whenever you hear about Facebook ads, right, the narrative is always, hey, for every $1 that I put in the ad spend, I got $8 out, right? You know what I'm saying? $2 out. Not even 2, it's 8. It's $8. And so what happens is most people go into Facebook advertising making it look like a slot machine. Like, oh, well, yeah, so all I got to do is just create this ad and, spend $25 on it and I'll get 200 back. Like, that's not how
maybe not.
That's not how, and I don't know how, lack of knowledge probably is what allows that thought to prevail. However, I just don't know how anyone could go with such a simple explanation of something that is so much more complex, right?
Because they want to sell it. Because if they were to tell you how difficult, if they were to tell you the process, no one would.
It's hard to sell the process.
No one would buy. No one would buy. In actuality, it is true. You can get that, but not right out of the bat. Not right out with just running one ad campaign and one creative and just shoot for the moon. Yeah.
Yo, like I'm telling you, man, during that 4-month deep dive where I worked with Billie Jean, it blew my mind when we talked about, like, okay, we learn how to create ads, and you're like, man, this isn't that bad. Like, oh, this isn't that bad. And it's like, oh, well, but you have to create multiple ads, and then what you got to do is try multiple graphics, right? Mm-hmm. To test and see which one is going to actually resonate with the consumer. But then you also got to test the copy, the headline, right? So you got to test all of these components. And it's like, anybody who thinks that they're going to throw $100 at a Facebook ad, like you said, for one ad, and you're going to start seeing money off of that, like, you are severely lacking the level of understanding of what Facebook really is me doing market testing to see what people like. And then once I find that thing, I can then start scaling that thing.
Well, that's what's called a teachable moment. That's what you have right there. You have a teachable moment. You've got a belief that your customer has at this point. And you, as the marketer, because I'm always an eternal marketer, man. I'm always an eternal marketer. That's a teachable moment, where if someone thinks that they can actually run an ad or run $100, so just throw $100 at it, and but I think that that is out there.
Oh, no question.
That belief is out there.
Oh, no question.
That belief is out there, but at least stop at $100. Stop.
Yeah.
Spend $100 and stop.
Yeah.
And then call Jeremy, please.
Yeah, man.
Spend $100 and then say, okay, don't keep throwing money at it, because it's not going to get better.
Not going to get better. Not going to get better.
Yeah, it's not going to get better. It's not going to get better. Something's off. Something's off. Image, message, headline, copy. You can test a lot of things before you get it to the point where it is scalable.
Yes. And that is all. And so, like, I would tell anybody, like, number one, again, because I come from an IT background, I understand a little bit more about AI than the average person, but AI needs to be trained.
Yeah.
It needs to be trained. And so when you run a Facebook ad, you gotta be willing to set that thing up and let it run for a while, right? At least what I find on average, and this is even, like, I still tap in with experts, right, in this Facebook ads field. And one of the ladies that is mentor for me, she's like, you gotta get that, like, minimum 7, but more on the side of 10 to 14 days. You need to just train the pixel.
Yeah.
Just train the pixel.
Yeah. When I first got into the online marketing, and I took that 4-week social media marketing course, there were a couple of things that really stuck out to me that really propelled me into the marketing world. And it was the fact that advertisers are spending $237 billion on running ads on the platform. I thought that was absolutely a billion with a B.
Yeah.
And advertisers aren't spending that much money on a platform unless they're making money.
Yes. Yes.
$237 billion.
That's for sure.
But just that information alone is going to say to me that, whoa, this is lucrative. But it might lead me to believe that I could go into it blindly and thinking that I could make this successful.
Right.
But you can be very successful with it, but it requires more than just slapping up an ad and thinking that it can be profitable. So here I am, Jeremy. I'm always the here I am now, and where do I want to be? You know, here I am now with this belief that I can run Facebook ads with just slapping up one advertisement. Where do I want to be is to that point where my ads are running and I've got a winning ad set. I'm changing a couple of things. These ads are pumping out 2-3 times ROI, or ROAS, return on ad spend, and I'm able to even add a few things to those ads to make them scale up. I am winning. I'm winning up here, but there's a gap.
There's
a gap in getting there.
And there's so much nuance though, right? So like you just spoke about making changes to ads. So the school of thought that I have in my mentor circle is once you get stuff up and running, like you don't touch what's already running. If you want to modify, you create new. Yeah, you create new. Because again, you got to remember, you spent all this time training that AI.
And you're going to have to retrain it.
And the minute you go and stop that ad and make a change and rerun it, guess what's going to happen?
If Facebook approves it.
So that's what like if you got an ad that's working and you want to make a change, don't change it. Don't change it unless it's not working anymore.
Yeah, if you change a word and then say, oh, well, your ad has not been approved.
Listen, man. So that's the thing, those are the kinds of nuances that, somebody who's just trying to make a quick sale, like number one, they haven't done that amount of research, right? And number two, they just know that you can make money doing Facebook ads for other people, but they just know enough just to get going, to get enough people to, send them some money, right? Yeah. But one of the things that my IT experience has really, served me well in is I understand the importance of looking at data. And that's what this game is really all about. It's looking at the data that comes back and being able to make decisions based on that data. And that's what the run-of-the-mill person is not going to have the inclination to do, because all they want to do is make a sale. Yeah. And it's easy for me to sell you when all you want to do is make a sale. You don't want to build a business, you just want to sell something real quick.
Yeah. Or you may look at the data and want to quit, but then you have to track the data too. You have to track the data too.
Yeah.
What were your results from day 1 to 5?
There you go.
What were the results from day 6 to 10? Yeah. What were the results? Are they trending upward?
Yes.
Is it trending downward? Yeah.
You got to look at that data. You got to look at that data. You have to track the trend on that data, right? And so that's why if somebody comes to you and says that they are going to create Facebook ads for you for $300, you should be concerned. They're going to be cheap, but you're literally throwing the money away. You just giving it away.
It takes way more.
When you look at the work,
it takes way more time just to set up.
Come on, man.
Setting it up.
Come on, man.
Setting it up itself is the work. And setting it up. The research.
We just talked about doing the work to just get an avatar. But then we're not even going to talk about targeting audiences and how you need to segment that in your campaign. You can't throw everything into one bucket because then you don't know who's responding and who's not. Like, man, it's so much that goes into this, man.
Well, you know, I'll tell you why, because people want to believe a lie. They don't want to believe the truth. You know, people buy vitamin pills thinking that they're going to lose weight in 7 days by just sitting on the couch because they want to believe a lie. Yeah. But when you tell them the truth, that it just takes proper diet and a little bit of exercise, they don't want to hear that. They want to believe the lie. So when someone comes along and says, "Hey, I can run Facebook ads for you for $300," they want to believe that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, but when you create the story in your head to justify your action that you want to take anyway, right?
Yes.
So that absolutely makes sense.
Yeah, $300, dude. That's a lot of freaking work. You don't understand. If you don't even have an ad, if you don't have it set up in the ads manager,
and no assets to begin with, we got to do that too. Come on, man. So your challenge you got coming up. Tell me about that.
My challenge. Well, I too was inspired after being at Funnel Hacking Live, and I have been inspired since. I tell you, I haven't been the same since that marketing convention. I've never been at the point where I've taken all of the information and it's just been absorbed into my brain, and I've understood, and I've been able to articulate it in such a way. And I've been back. I've been methodically putting together. Look, I have in front of me right now.
Hey, listen, I got the same ones, man.
Oh, that book right there.
I cleaned up too, man.
That book right there. Oh my gosh. And so I felt as though Neo in the Matrix, if you remember the scene when the Guardians of the Matrix had Neo in a corner, and they started to shoot bullets at him. And it was at that moment that his eyes opened and he could see everything. He stopped those bullets in mid-air and they dropped to the ground. I've had that type of eye-opening experience. It's been amazing. And I've put together all of the best that I learned from being in a room with thousands of million-dollar earners. These are people that have been there, done it, and they gave of their knowledge so freely. I was granted these interviews with them, just giving some of the best advice. When you piece it all together, it is absolutely the information you need to get through in your business, to grow your business and have success. So the name of my challenge is called the Make More Money Marketing Challenge. And it's how to attract customers that will pay, stay, and refer.
And I love that. I love that sub headline, man. I love that.
Yes. We're already in the challenge right now. We're warming up our marketing engine, waiting for it to start on October the 18th.
Okay.
And once it starts, we're going to hit the ground for 5 days, putting into practice the marketing skills that we're learning. Yeah. Okay. So I've got 5 days packed. I've been putting some fire content in that group right now.
So the outcome at the end of the 5 days?
The outcome is for 20 leads, at least 20 leads in everybody.
Okay, so they're gonna be building the framework, the system to generate the leads, and then by the end of that 5-day period, they should have already gotten some leads into their pipeline.
Yes, we have some people that already have gotten leads so far.
Nice.
Even in our pre-content that I'm putting in there, I'm releasing all of the interviews that I did with the $1 million earners online.
Yeah.
So you notice a pattern in the answers.
Okay.
And it's evident in the answers what the key factors are, and really getting unstuck where you're at. Because a lot of what I see inside the group, and what I see is that everyone really has the ability within them to be successful. Mm-hmm. Everyone in them has the ability, and that's what we want to do, is just bring it out. Yeah, we want to bring that out, and that's what we're going to do in this challenge. It's going to show up in the form of new leads, but it's really bringing out the abilities that we have inside of us.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, and man, one of the things that I was literally just thinking about the other day, man, is God gave each of us the ability. He gave us a skill, mm-hmm. or skills, and a talent or talents, mm-hmm. that allows each of us, that will allow each of us to feed ourselves, mm-hmm. if we mm-hmm. just tap into it and develop it. Literally, nobody actually needs a job. You were born with the skills and abilities that are required to sustain you and anybody that God blesses to be a part of your life. Like, it's in you. You were born with it. Yep. You just have turned away from it.
Oh, we've been led away.
Yes, led astray.
we've been led away.
Yeah, absolutely.
And taught.
Yes.
And really ingrained that.
Yes.
We're supposed to actually just be workers.
Yeah.
Living someone else's dream.
Somebody figured it out. Like, if I could just convince them to give up developing who they are to come and build my thing, all I got to do is come up with the right number. And they'll forget about finding who they are.
Mm-hmm. And that's not our true nature.
Not at all. And that's why most people hate what they do for a living, because you're not aligned with what you were actually brought here to do.
Yeah.
And so some of us actually get to that point where we're fed up.
Most people
we're just going through the motions.
Most people go along for 20 years like I did. Following this path.
Yeah.
That is what I'm supposed to do. We're supposed to go to college, and we're supposed to get a job, and then we're supposed to climb the ladder, and we're supposed to do all these things to impress other people that don't really care about us in the first place. Yeah.
For sure.
But I tell you though, I do love to see what I saw out there at that convention.
Yeah.
I do. You know what I saw? A lot of some diversity.
Yeah. And look, man, like I
think it's going to be even more. I think it's coming even more.
Bruh, but look at this though. What blew me away, man, was that, I saw white people bringing their white kids to sit in the same conference that I was in. Now I bought my family, my kids, they're 5 and 7. And I bought them because I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be at a resort, come hang out, have fun. But dude, my wife is coming back to me like, yo, we just ran into some kids that got a sock line that they selling through ClickFunnels, or selling t-shirts through ClickFunnels.
That was a good experience for a youngster. That was a good experience for them to be in that environment.
But look how tapped in they are at such a young age, and their parents are tapping them in. Like, listen, you need to be over here learning how to grow a business at 10, 11.
They know the importance of just the environment. If you just exposing them to it is triggering something. But if you're not exposed to that, and maybe that's what we don't do enough.
Absolutely. That was my point. That's my point. Is number one, right? As we just said, we're literally just getting tapped into like, yo, like if you learn a certain set of skills, you don't have to have a job, right? So we're just, and I'm 45. And so I know that since you got a little gray on your beard, you know what I'm saying?
I'm a young 50-ish.
There you go. So we're sort of just getting tapped into what Russell knew about in the right in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
So we gotta, but it was just like something that I made a mental note of, like, oh, I gotta bring my kids into this environment where they can just soak up the atmosphere and understand, even at a young age, like, man, you can create your own money.
There are different conversations in a room with people who are making $1,000 a day.
Absolutely.
And people who are making $100,000 a day.
Yeah.
People on this level might frame paying for a $5,000 product as, oh my gosh, what do you mean? Yeah. Maybe they can't even see it. Maybe they couldn't even vision it. You're in a room with $100,000 people that are earning $100,000. It opens up your mind to more possibilities and different conversations. The conversations about how to make $100,000 in a day, man, is a much different conversation than somebody who's just trying to pay the bills or just trying to get by. And also somebody, and this is another really, really big thing that I found out, especially from that book you have back there called The Boss Moves. I love that book. But you got a person that's making $30,000 a year, and you have a person that's making $3 million a year. Now, the person who's making $3 million a year is making 100 times more money than the person who is making $30,000 a year. Now, is this person that's making $3 million a year working 100 times harder than this person?
Absolutely not.
Is this person that's making $3 million spending 100 times more hours at what they're doing?
Absolutely not.
More than likely, this person making $3 million is working less than this person that's making $30,000.
Absolutely.
And Myron Golden made this so clear when he said that I can make more money talking than you can with every single muscle in your body.
Yeah, man, those four levels. Those four levels.
You know the four levels?
Yeah,
implementation, unification, communication, and
imagination, baby.
Oh, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, bro. Like, look, and it's so true, man, and it makes so much sense. And I even think about that, from my corporate experience, is I was always the doer. Right now, I was a well-paid doer, but still, right?
You're still capped.
I'm a doer.
Yeah, and you're still capped. You're not going to be a millionaire. You're not going to make $1 million a year being an implementer, being a doer.
Not at all. Not at all. The only way, and this was the thing, and again, I told you I was double dipping for a long time. And guess what I figured out after double dipping for a long time? is you are limited by your earning ability is limited to your ability to scale yourself.
That's implementation.
That's right. On the implementation level, I cannot make more than I am able to scale myself.
And you
right?
can,
and you can only do that so much.
There's only so many hours in a day.
Only so many hours in a day. And so what that taught me is that ain't the way. You working twice as hard, right? And then you're still gonna hit that limit, right? So the only way to get wealthy is to create things that you can that you can systematize, right? And then scale that system using other people.
Yes.
It's the only way to get rich.
Yes. He tells the story. Yeah. The difference between the doer and the imagination. Like I love he talks about when you mention the company Apple, what name comes to mind?
Yeah.
Most everyone will say Steve Jobs. But he isn't the one that invented the Apple computer. It was Wozniak. And but Wozniak, his name is not remembered because he was the one that did the thing. He was the implementer. But Steve Jobs, I mean, he's still making money today. His name alone is still making money. He hasn't been here for 5 or more years at least. 8 years, maybe.
Something like that.
8, and he's still making. That's the type of wealth that I want to build. That's the type of wealth right there that lives beyond you. It lives after you. And it's just, when you think about it, it's just a matter of mastering a skill. And even if it took you a year to master that skill, even if it took you 2 years to master that skill, how much would mastering that skill be worth to you?
Yes. Now here's the only thing I'll add to that. And this is the biggest one of my biggest faults that I am working on, and my wife reminds me of this all the time. I love to learn stuff, and I think it just comes from my IT background. I love to learn stuff, and
you are not
I have to get to the point where I'm willing to learn what it takes to get to the next level or to accomplish the next thing and not stay in learning mode. Right? So I've learned a lot, right? But, and again, in the 2CCX coaching, they're like, listen, number one, you got to go from being the implementer to knowing how to build the system, find the who. Right? You don't have to learn each thing because that's going to slow down your speed to completion. Right? So it's like, learn enough to know who, right? Understand the framework, understand who needs to be in your framework in order to get to your end goal. But you got to get out of the learning and get into the implementation.
The doing.
That you gotta do as much as you learn, if not more than you learn, right? You got to be more, because the thing is we talked about it using Facebook ads as an example. Like you gotta start the ad before you can tweak it, right? You gotta start imperfectly. And that's again another one of my big things is you got to start imperfectly. You gotta put 1.0 out. And it's not going to be perfect, but that's where 2.0 comes in, or 1.1 or 1.5. But so many of us get stuck on the learning, and then it's got to be perfect. That never get it done.
That's fire. You have me having epiphanies over here.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. So that's why
I'm listening.
Like, when is the challenge gonna be? I'm like, babe, I'm like, I'm gonna have the first challenge November 1. She's like, why not the 28th? I'm like, well, like I wanna at least give my ad 2 weeks to run, and like that'll give me some time to really, finish my framework. Cause again, launch imperfectly. Like I don't know everything I'm gonna deliver in the challenge, but I do need to set the date.
Yeah.
And figure it out during the process. Right? Figure it out. And so that's the place where I have to get to as an entrepreneur is I got to start imperfectly with the end in mind.
Yeah. And when you run this challenge, I don't know what the track is. And the reason I didn't join is because I'm already in another high-end coaching program. So that's why I didn't join the 2CCX.
Yeah.
But I don't know if their next sprint is going to send you to something completely different, or are you going to evergreen this challenge, or are you going to do it again?
Yeah, so this is something that I'll run for the tax season only, and then I will then expand on that idea into another arena. I haven't quite solidified what that area is what that extension is going to be yet. But I will live in this space for the next 2 months at least. And then as the tax season starts to taper off, I'll then launch my next thing. So yeah.
You're going to get way more data from doing than you will ever get from learning.
There you go.
You're going to get way more data from doing it than you will from learning it.
Yeah.
But when you were talking about that, it's just I have this ability with my mind, man. And when I read something, I just soak it up. I was telling you, I just soak it up, and I just remember it and recall it, and I can point to the page of Myron Golden's book that he really hit on that what you just said, and because that was what struck me too. About learning it and doing it. He was talking about business mastery. Mm-hmm. And there's your page right there. I love this book. But he talks about the process of learning and going to another level. First, you learn about a thing, you learn how to do a thing, and then you do a thing.
Yes.
And he actually talks about people saying that they learn a thing, but they don't learn a thing, they learn about a thing. You don't learn a thing until you do the thing.
Bingo.
But many people will say, I learned something without having done it.
Yep.
But you learn a thing when you do the thing.
Yes. Yeah.
So, and when you're stuck in that learning phase, I don't think you're alone with that.
No, I know, man. There are people who have been in the 2 Comma Club program for a year or more, right? A year or more, and still haven't like officially launched. So they wanted to be a part of the tribe, right? But they haven't committed to actually doing the work. Right. So we talked about, like, you'll try a lot of shit, right? Because it makes you feel good to be a part of something, and like, hey, like at least I want to do better. But but they're outlining it for you. So are you gonna do it, or you just want
let me ask you something about that, about taking action, because there's something that I learned from Myron Golden as why people don't take action.
Yes.
They didn't invest enough.
That as well.
You don't invest enough. You're more likely to take action when it hits your pocketbook.
I totally agree.
When you spend $47 on an ebook, $97 on a course, $9.97. I'll tell you what, the truth is that the information is not much different. And the information was there. The how-tos are there.
Yes.
But many people don't execute. They don't have enough skin in the game.
Oh, totally agree. Totally agree. But now, depending on the person, you can hit them over the head with the price, and they just don't prioritize.
Well, apparently, because you're saying that there's people that have been in the 2CCX program for a while, and they still haven't taken action. You know what? They haven't felt the pain enough.
Well, but do you know why?
What do you think?
I'm gonna tell you why. Because when you have an income of a certain level, let's just call that level like 150 plus.
Right. 5,000 doesn't hurt.
It don't hurt.
See, exactly.
It don't hurt. It even 10,000, right? And even 20 dependent. Right?
Right.
So, but definitely not 5.
Right.
Right. So now the other piece of it is this though, and I can attest to this, is that this program is intense, like it's time consuming. It's time consuming. So if you're like, I just made a decision, like I'm just doing nothing but this, right? Like you said, could I go and get something? Yeah, but the minute that I do that, I have then decided to split my attention. And then because I've now gone out and gotten this job or whatever, like, you know how that goes. That's going to take precedence over this thing that I said I'm committed to, right? So for me, like, I have all the time in the world to do nothing but just consume the material that they have presented me with and to do the thing that they have assigned for me to do. And I could easily see how, if I had job, kids, marriage, and all of that, how you wait to the end of the day to sit down, look at some videos at 9 o'clock at night, and then 30 minutes into it, you're like, I'll do it in the morning, right?
Or you're more likely to skip a step, skip an important step, rather than sit there and do it and do it and do it and do it.
Yeah. So, and it's put it like this. I met a chick at one of the events at the conference, and she was just like, for about 2 weeks, she was like, I just quit. I just didn't do anything because she was just so overwhelmed. Right. So, and then I had another guy, I told him like, yo, I signed up for the coaching program. He was like, whoo. He was like, man, you sure? Like, he was like, cause you know, a lot of the stuff is in the books. And I'm like, well, I get that. And I'm like, a lot of stuff is in books, but you don't execute on what's in books because you got all day to do it. I'm like, I need deadlines. I mean, I know me. I need deadline. I need you to tell me what to do and then give me a deadline to do it, because that's how I was trained by corporate, right? So when I was literally just telling my wife, like, the first thing you need to learn as an entrepreneur is how to manage your free time, because you got a lot of it. You don't have any skills on managing it, right? So we did a mindset coaching the other day as a part of the program, and she's like, well, what do you want? Like, I'm like, well, I want to, you know, basically be able to wake up in the morning and work out and just do self-care. Like, I like working out. I want to work out first thing in the morning. I want to get a chance to sit back, read the paper, have a cup of tea or whatever, and then, you know, then get into I don't want to wake up having to be at 10. So she's like, well, what would it be like if you did that? And I'm like, lady, I'm doing that already. I'm like, it's not about like, what would it feel like if I'm doing it? I'm doing it right now. I said, however, what I do need to figure out is a system for managing that free time that I now have, right? That they don't teach me that. right? Because in corporate, we got that all outlined for you.
You have what you need to do every day.
Every day is already mapped out for you. The first thing you need to do as an entrepreneur is learn how to get off your own ass.
You gotta be self-motivated.
You gotta be, but but that's not taught anywhere. You gotta develop it.
Yeah.
Right? And you can start developing it before you take the leap, but you probably won't, because nobody ever said like, yo, you might need to work on that self-discipline for like at least 6 months to a year.
You make a good point there, because you come from a background where you've already had the discipline. Well, you wake up in the morning and you do some exercise, so that takes some discipline.
It does.
That takes some discipline. That takes some planning. You may not feel fully realized with it, but you've got it in you. You could just expand it to different areas.
Yeah.
But that's good that you can point that out, because I had a military background.
Okay.
So I kind of take it for granted that I've been able to, stay physically fit as I am at my age, because the majority of people my age, it just goes downhill. No, I feel you. Yeah, so, but that's good that you actually recognize that people don't. That's something that people don't come to the table with. They have to learn that. They have to learn that.
And it's a muscle, man. It's a muscle. Right?
Yeah.
And then especially as a new entrepreneur, you look up and your whole day is shot. And it's like, well, what did I really do? Right?
And these time interruptions and disruptions are where they all went.
And that's another thing that they talk about. Like, hey, you have to have times that are set aside for one thing, and nothing can interrupt that time, because the minute you give something a second to interrupt you, you go down a rabbit hole.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's all these little soft skills to being an entrepreneur that nobody's talking about, really. Like, what does it look like in real life?
well, you know what? They're talking about them behind closed doors.
I guess so.
They're talking about it in the coaching sessions, because the people out front aren't selling that until you pay for the backdoor access. Yeah. And when you pay for the backdoor access, that's when you get into, you think you're not getting into anything else. Like, well, why should I pay? You might think, why should I pay? I can get everything. I can go watch YouTube videos. Yeah. Then you watch YouTube videos and you don't get any results.
Yep.
You get no results.
Yep.
And it's the transformation that I realized that man, you need to pay to get in that room. You need to pay to be in that access. You need to pay to be around those people that are doing it. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think when you talk to a lot of people that coach others, they'll tell you that the biggest thing they have to really coach people on is to believe in themselves.
Yeah.
To believe in themselves. Like when I invested in this high-end coaching, and they told me the price, but they said, okay, but we're going to get you this. And I said, okay, I've seen you do it before. I know it works. The question is, if I'm plugged in, can I do it?
Will it work for you? Yeah.
Well, I believe in me.
Yeah.
I believe in myself.
Yeah.
If I'm betting on anything, I'm going to bet on myself.
Right.
So yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure you probably went through the same type of process.
Yeah. Number one, there is no substitute for being in the environment. No substitute for being in it. Like there were people who went to FHL virtually, right? And it's not the same as being there.
No,
it's not the same as being there. I'm gonna tell you that straight up, right?
It's you don't have the time that we spent just waiting to get inside the hallways, the time that we spent out in the hallways.
Yeah.
We were
happenstance conversations.
When we got in there, we had people in front of us, behind us, to both sides of us for each session that you met and connected with.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just had so many more conversations, so many more face-to-face interactions, and just off the cuff things. There is no substitute. You're right about that.
Yeah. And so as a result of that, man, you know, obviously as a marketer, I know now that at the end of everything, you're going to be sold something, right? You're going to be, or I'll say somebody's going to make an offer.
Okay.
Right. But even when the coaching was open up, number one, I already knew I was going to sign up for it.
You did?
I already knew that before. Like, I was just waiting on him to get done, to tell you the truth. Right? Like I'm just waiting on you to get done.
I was almost there. If I hadn't got this coaching before, I would be there too.
Yeah. But one of the things that he said during, you know, his offer, he's just like, man, you know, you got to realize that to make a different decision literally takes every fiber of your being to make a different decision. And you don't realize what you're up against when you're trying to make a different decision. It's just like working out, right? Or even better, working out in the morning. Like, some people mentally just cannot grasp that idea. Nope, not gonna happen. Don't want to do it, right? And the minute you make a decision to step out of comfort and make a new decision, your brain sends a signal to every cell in your body that says, hey, what the fuck are you doing?
Stop this.
Right. Like, this is about to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, why are we doing this? What are we trying to prove? Right?
Yeah.
Like, this is working. Right?
Yeah.
Even though you know you need to make a different decision.
Yeah. I'm completely comfortable. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's why I said, like, I already knew, like, and so first of all, like, at the time, I didn't know they were about to make an offer. I didn't know, he was about to make an offer. But then when I saw, like, oh, an offer is coming, cool, I'm signing up for this. And I knew it because I've done everything else. Right? So I've done the, hey, you know, I get laid off and I go find something else. I did that before. Where's that shit getting me? Where's that? It's not getting me anywhere. It's getting me more of the same. And so to continue to do the same thing over and over is the definition of insanity. Because I know where this road goes. So I had already made a decision in my mind that I was going to make a different decision. I just needed the vehicle. And so when it was like, oh, the vehicle just pulled up. I'm ready to get in. You don't got to sell me on what the ride's gonna be like and all. Like, I'm ready to get in because because all I'm looking for is the right framework for me to do what I already know I'm destined to do. And this was it. This was it, man. And so, like you said, when I signed up and they're like, oh, we're gonna do performance coaching, where, you know, if you're stuck for any reason, number one, they're available to you every day, you know, 8 to 5 or whatever it is for just any technical issues. But then there's the performance, like, okay, let's figure out how to get you to perform at your highest level. Then so there's mind coaching.
Is that your high ticket offer? You're gonna have a high ticket offer.
No. I'm telling you, as a part of the 2 Comma Club coaching.
Okay.
So there's not only the hey, we're gonna tell you exactly what to do, but then there's also, let's address the belief system that you have that prevents you from being able to truly, you know, live at your highest, you know, implementation, right? So, and then let's look at the areas in your performance that you need to improve in order to get to the next level. Like, it's not just about, it's about mindset above anything, because that controls everything else.
Yep.
And you gotta address mindset. You cannot take somebody who, you know, is used to living check to check and take that belief system and then just transplant it into a millionaire situation, because they're gonna blow that.
It's the thing. It's the thing that the work is not hard. The hardest part is becoming the person you need to be.
You gotta become the person.
The person you need to be to do the thing that you need to do. That's how Myron says it.
There you go. And it's so true, man. Because if you're not the person, you can't sustain the thing.
Yeah, and it because I was talking to before our call, you know, talking to my other buddy, and we really get deep into the marketing aspect. I knew there was an offer coming. I was actually in conversations with someone else about how he had the entire event structured. Okay. And what day would the offer come? And she was telling me, you better not buy it, Mark. She's like, I'm gonna have to stop you. But I knew it was coming, and I knew that entire day the way he set it up, because what he was doing was shifting beliefs. He started the day off, and he wanted to shift the belief, the mindset. And he started with that first presentation, and then he built up on that. And then here came the offer, and we were like, okay, here comes the offer stack right here. Because and I saw it, but that's where you have to, that's what he did, because he knew that your thoughts, your world, your beliefs, as you were sitting there at that time, weren't going to well, maybe you were, because you were already in that mind frame, but he was going to put your mind in that state, so that now it's just a logical conclusion. Right. Yes, this is the vehicle. That's the type of stuff that you could benefit from.
Yes.
Because definitely because there's, when you think about it, okay, doing a challenge, you got lead generation, and you're going to do it through Facebook ads. So Facebook ads, and then once you get those leads, then you got lead conversion. And the lead conversion is where you have to convert them from a lead into a buyer. And that's what the shifting of mindset does. That's what you can use. You can use a lot of your marketing to, and that's what they do so well. And we were talking about one of the principles inside of Expert Secrets, which is the one big thing. The one big thing, that domino that he talked. You read the book Expert Secrets?
Yep.
You know that one thing, and every speaker that got up there had one thing that they needed to knock down. One thing that they needed you to know. And if he says, if we can get people to believe in that one thing, then they will have to buy it. So that's what you'll be doing in your challenge. If you get people to believe that one thing, and what is that one thing? What is that one thing? So I'm gonna you mind if I read to you?
Go ahead.
Okay, so he says that if I can make people believe that blank, my new opportunity is the key to blank, what they desire the most, and is only attainable through blank, my specific vehicle, then all other objections and concerns become irrelevant, and they have to give me money. So maybe, for example, you might say, if I can make people believe that my tax services are the key to creating generational wealth, and it's only attainable through my tax course, then all other objections and concerns become irrelevant and they have to give me money. That's what he did throughout that day. But his thing was that if I were to guess his statement, if I can believe that my 2CCX coaching program is the key to getting them to the business that they desire, and it's only attainable through purchasing my coaching program, then all other objections and concerns become irrelevant and they have to give me money. See, I'm definitely a student of the game, and I know this book is what they follow to a T.
Yes.
And he did that through a series of presentations that shifted your beliefs.
Yes.
Or, as a friend of mine says, he, person that you are, you have this certain worldview, and then what he says, shatter that worldview and build up a new worldview. And then once you give them a new worldview, then you have another problem, because here's this new world, but you're still the same person in that new world.
Right.
So then you have to shatter the self view and then build up a new self view. And I see them doing that so masterfully as you're sitting there in that environment. And so that's what, I'm doing the lead generation, and I think, the lead generation for my challenge is going pretty well, but now it's more of the conversion. It's the shifting beliefs. And that's why I'm working on some more of that content inside that shifting beliefs, and causes people to say, I didn't think about that. Wow. Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, that open up the gap, show them that new opportunity. I'm having fun with it, man.
Yeah, man, I love it, man. I love it. Like I said, I meant to reach out to you while you were there, but we were both like busy with the with the cameras out, talking to people, so we never got a chance to connect, man. But I'm so glad that we got a chance to sit down, man, and have this conversation.
If you're just starting out online, you're probably studying a lot. That's great. You're probably geeking out on all the strategies also, right? But that's also great. But the hardest part is figuring out how to communicate in a way that makes someone want to buy from you, and how you should sell to them, right? Well, that's also what I struggled with for a while, until I found the formula. So I created this free 5-day challenge called the Make More Money Marketing Challenge to get you on track with your marketing, and more importantly, the right sales scripts and processes to get it off the ground and getting people to take you up on your products, services, and your opportunities. You want to come? Well, there's small groups on purpose, so I can answer your direct questions for 5 straight days. You can hold your spot by going to www.thementalmarketer.com/4M challenge sign up. Again, that's thementalmarketer.com/4M challenge sign up. Check the site for dates and times. I'll see you on the inside.